Hey everyone, this is Austin Bach, and today I'm deviating from my normal limited excursions for Magic. Today I'm bringing you a standard deck. Dragon's Maze has not yet been released on MTGO, but it is possible to get it on websites like Cockatrice, which is where I am right now. I'm in the deck builder mode right now, and I tend to brew a lot when a new set comes out, and to varying success, but this time I think I've actually stumbled across something that's truly quite powerful, so I decided to share it with you today. I'm not really sure what to call this mess. It's black, white, and green, so junk is as far as I've gotten. It's got Cartel Aristocrat as one of the key pieces, so I've kind of called it Junk Aristocrats for a while, even though this is the only quote-unquote aristocrat. It doesn't have the black-red Falcon Wrath Aristocrat, but it has a similar theme going on. You'll notice some of the key pieces from the black, white, and red Aristocrats deck, which is the Cartel Aristocrat, Doom Traveler, Skurzdag High Priests, Tragic Slip, Orzhov Charm, Lingering Souls. So the basic black-white skeleton for that deck, kind of infused into a green shell here. We've added cards like Dregmangler, which are sacrificed pretty profitably to the Cartel Aristocrat as well as the other creatures. Lotleth Troll, which is a solid body, which I'll get into in a minute, actually has quite a bit of synergy. Another new Dragon's Maze card, Voice of Resurgence, which is very, very powerful with Cartel Aristocrat, which is the main interaction that made me want to build this deck. But the real centerpiece of this deck is Varolz the Scar-Striped. Basically, it's kind of a wall of text, but basically you can sack a creature to regenerate it. So it's almost a 3-mana version of Cartel Aristocrat, except it regenerates instead of giving protection from colors. So in some cases it's better, in some cases it's not. It can't stop unsummons or anything, but it can survive board wipes, which is where it is quite powerful. But its main ability is each creature in your graveyard has Scavenge. So basically, all these creatures we sack with Cartel Aristocrat, like Voice of Resurgence to get our elemental tokens, or cards that we pitched with Lotleth Troll to put +1 counters on them, we can basically get back in the form of +1 counters. And Doom Traveler just 1 mana, 1 counter. So Doom Traveler basically becomes a 3-for-1 in this deck. Then you have role players like Lingering Souls, which of course are strong on their own, but also have immense implications for the deck. Basically making your Cartel Aristocrats and Varolz is indestructible for quite some time. And basically it's just a conglomeration of a bunch of powerful standard cards put together, and it's been working very, very well so far in testing. 23 lands. 4 of each shock, and a handful of Innistrad and M12 duels, a couple basics, and some Cavern of Souls. Cavern of Souls, it's kind of necessary for the early turns, because we want untapped white on turn 1, plus black green and green white on turn 2, and black green colorless on turn 3. The mana is kind of bad in the early game, so Cavern of Souls, even though there's not many shared creature types, is kind of necessary. It's part of the skill intensive part of this deck. It's a very difficult deck to pilot, I've learned. Cavern of Souls is one of those things you have to learn how to manage your resources with pretty well, or your strategy could just fall apart. There's 16 cards on the sideboard. That's incorrect. I'm not sure what the extra card is, but just the general principle of the sideboard. We've got an extra Skurzdag High Priest, which by the way is insane in this kind of deck. Just start pumping out 5/5s when you have sack outlets. If you don't know already, Skurzdag High Priest can pretty much make a 5/5 token every turn, which is too much for a lot of decks to handle. So he comes in against the decks that have trouble dealing with that, burn-based removal decks usually can't deal with the 5/5 and so on. We have an Obsidat, which is good in a lot of matchups. Control has a hard time dealing with him. Mid-range decks usually can't race him. Certain aggro decks, depending on how fast they are, he can be helped. But solid role player. And there's also another land, a 4th Cavern of Souls in the side to bring in as well, so we have an easier time casting him for 5 mana, because our curve is quite low otherwise. Deathrite Shamans for control, and basically any deck with Snapcasters, as well as Reanimator strategies. Very good against those strategies. Centaur Healer is pretty self-explanatory against aggro. Sin Collector is a card I have loved so much. Against control, it just rips apart their hand. Like, the second it comes in, like if you name Cavern Naming Human and Sin Collector, like it's almost game over from that point, because you get to see what their strategy is, even though you only get one card and they might have multiple answers. Like, you get to know what to play around, and that information is just invaluable. It's almost as valuable as getting rid of the card, is just knowing what they have, so you can adjust your plan accordingly. 2 Selesnya Charms for big creatures that are tough for us to deal with, like Thragtusk sometimes, Angel of Serenity, opposing Obsidiats. It's pretty useful. And 1 Vraska the Unseen comes in against mid-range and control decks. She's pretty slow. Like, she's decent. She's only a 1-of, but like, she's pretty good at blowing up key permanents, like a random detention sphere or something. So she comes in against control for cards that we don't really want, like Doom Traveler, stuff like that aren't very useful against them. So yeah, anyway, there's the 75. I'll figure out what card to take out from the sideboard here in a second. Maybe just the Vraska, I don't know. But anyway, that's the key proponents of the deck. I'm going to run it through a couple games and see how you guys like it.